All right.
Go. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Ziegenfuss University. Our topic of the day, we're examining the Lutheran Sunday morning service, the liturgy. What does liturgy mean? Work of the people. And we have this handout, and Linda, maybe you can hold that up and zoom in on it so people can see it.
Not really.
All right, well,
Oh, no, no. Yeah, it's going to have to be really far away. No, I'll have to add it as an attachment.
all right, well, we'll do that. All right,
That was wishful thinking.
so last week, remember when you say, the peace of the Lord be with you always. What do you say? Let us share the peace of Christ with one another. What is that in the service? That's halftime, right? And the service is divided into two parts, word and sacrament. Word and sacrament. So when you say the peace of the Lord, that's the beginning of the sacrament half of the service. So today we're going to do in the sacrament half of the service. But before we do, Joe wants to talk very quickly about the psalm.
Yeah, the psalm is really an integral part of the service, and of course the words will put the music. And just want to point out to you some of the things that happen during the psalm. A lot of you probably know what's going on here. The little slashes means that's where we change the chord.
Yeah, you don't just play it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
for instance, it sounds like.
So when you shift, that's the slash mark.
So I'll sing the first part of this thing. I got the wrong organ here, I think. Yeah. Anyway. Happy are they whose way is blameless. Who
Shift.
This isn't right.
Huh?
That's all right.
Good teaching.
That's fine.
Whose follow the teaching of the Lord. Happy are they who observe your decrees and seek you with all their hearts. Let's try it together, everybody. From the
See,
beginning.
and when you play it as an organist, every psalm is different, so you almost have to sing it as you play it to know when to shift.
Yes.
Like it isn't it's not like playing a hymn. You have to and sometimes the lines are longer, sometimes they're shorter.
Just look for the little dot, the little slash there as you go through. Happy are they whose slash way is blameless, who follow the teachings slash of the Lord. Those are the chord changes I did. So let's try it, see what happens here. I got the wrong instrument here.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
It doesn't sound right.
You're complaining about the quality of Linda's keyboard?
He said he's got the wrong instrument.
I think it boils down to the artist more than the...
This is true. This is true.
The instance.
Let me try, let's try the piano. No, it's not good. We'll try the accordion. All right.
Yeah, now you're talking.
07.
Oh, beautiful.
It's better.
Right at home. Happy are they whose way is blameless, who follow the teaching of the Lord. Now the light area is mine. Now you come in with happy are they who observe.
We do the boldface.
Yes. Happy are they who observe your decrees and seek you with all their hearts, who never do any wrong, but always walk in your ways. You lay down your commandments, that we should fully keep them. You got it.
We got it.
Excellent.
That's every Sunday, little slashes, change a chord, can't go wrong. Same melody. We will change in Lent though.
And remember, how many psalms are there in the Bible? 150. And in the Middle Ages, the monks would sleep in cells, right? Like a jail cell, right? And they would get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and file solemnly to the chapel, and they would sing the psalms, and they do this through the whole day. So it takes 2.5 weeks if you go by the medieval hours in a monastery.
Yeah.
2.5 weeks to sing it through in Latin.
If
So
any of you,
eventually you would memorize them all.
if any of you have been to a Greek service, I played a Greek wedding. What,
4 hours long?
2 hours long.
Yeah.
And there are three ministers or 3 priests, whatever, that sang this thing.
Uh-huh.
And they sang one full hour.
Yeah.
Off and on.
Could you imagine?
I almost fell asleep at the keyboard.
Well, they got the incense going.
They had the incense going.
Yeah, it's a huge
up,
thing.
You know.
I was talking to a friend of mine who goes to an Armenian Orthodox church, and I said, well, the weddings are really long, and he goes, well, we don't quite know when it starts, because the priest goes there, and they have a screen, and the priest does the thing for maybe an hour or two before anyone even shows up for the wedding. It's really interesting.
No, one quick question, Pastor. Linda and I and the group went up to this Russian Orthodox church.
Yes.
There was no music in there. All icons. The whole place was covered with iconic.
Well, were the monks, like, they probably have chapel like they do with...
We didn't see the monks.
No, there was no service.
There was no service, no.
No.
No, there was no service.
Where were you?
New Skeet.
New Skeet?
New Skeet.
New Skeet.
It's Connecticut.
Up by
Did
Burlington.
they breed the dogs or something, right?
Yeah.
Up in Vermont.
Yeah.
No,
Vermont. No.
I don't think it's Vermont. Either way.
Yeah, it was Vermont.
Either
All
way.
right, so thanks, Joe, that was good. That's unfinished business from last week. All right, so now we're on the sacrament side, okay? Word and sacrament, okay? The peace of the Lord be with you always. Do we need to look this up? Somebody look up St. John 14:27. I gave you the handout so you can verify these. And somebody look up St. John 20:19 through 21. So the peace of the Lord be with you always. So let's see let's look that up. Remember, the point here is that when you go to church and you do the liturgy, the whole service is taken from the Bible. So it isn't just, a verse or two with a 3-hour sermon. No, the whole thing is the Bible. Who was 14:27? John chapter 14, verse 27. Read it when you have it.
14?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
14:27.
Okay. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you.
Excellent. Okay, and the next one is John chapter 20.
I've got that one.
Okay, read that one.
On the evening of that day, the first day of the week, the doors being locked when the disciples were for fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." When he had said this, he showed them his hands and his side. Then the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. Jesus said to them again, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, even so I am sending you."
Okay, perfect. All right, now, John chapter 20 is a post-resurrection story. So, what's the evening of that day? Easter Sunday evening. Okay? So it's evening of Easter, and they're all together in one room. And Jesus says, he appears to them and he says, "Peace be to you." Shalom, in other words. Okay? Why is that important? Think of the story of the Passion of the Christ. What happened on Maundy, Thursday? That's the Lord's Supper, okay? Then they go to the Garden of Gethsemane. He's betrayed to Judas, and what did the disciples do?
They ran.
Well, yeah, Judas kissed him, betrayed him, and what happened to the rest of them?
They ran.
They all ran away. What is the job of a disciple or a student in the 1st century AD?
Take care of the teacher.
Yeah, the rabbi, you wait on him. And when the rabbi gets arrested, you stand by him. Right? Stand by your man, right? Instead, they all ran away. So when people said Jesus rose from the dead, there's rumors on Easter Sunday afternoon and morning. What do you think the disciples thought?
They're in trouble.
They're in big trouble.
Or no, they thought,
He's going to be angry.
he's gonna, yeah.
I saw
What would you do if Tony Soprano, you know what I mean? So basically when Jesus appears to him and says, "Peace be to you," it isn't just like peace, like a 60s thing. It's, "I'm not going to kill you," which is what you deserve for running away from me.
I saw
In
Peter.
other words, that's the really interesting thing.
I saw Peter cut off somebody's ear.
He did that, and then Jesus said, "Put away the sword, live by the sword," you know. But they all ran away. That's the bottom line. Huh?
John did too?
John in the Gospel of John is a witness to the crucifixion. But basically, Peter denies them. They all run away. Basically, they don't have. So when he says, "Peace be to you," this is a huge thing. In other words, you're forgiven for being a horrible disciple. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Okay. So why do we do this then? Well, it gives you an opportunity to, you know, shake hands with people, exchange, have a conversation, how you doing? No, that's a good thing, right? It's a wonderful thing when it's like the family gets together and everybody, you know, and I joke, I ring the bell sometimes, but it's a great thing. Do you think God smiles when he sees everybody getting along and, you know, having a wonderful time? Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I think it's beautiful, right? So, and sometimes I feel bad, like I'm intruding or something when I, you know. All right, so we have the offering, okay? The morning offering will now be received, okay? Now, and usually Joe plays some special music there. And this is a delight. What are you supposed to do when special music, you're supposed to listen to the music, right? And remember, the tune is great, we love the tune, but the words are poems, they're religious poems. So you want to like read them, even if you don't sing, you should sing anyway, even if you can't sing, right? Why? Because these are religious poems, and if you're not paying attention during the Bible readings or during the sermon or during all this liturgy going on, maybe that special song will be the, you know, when I go to a conference or a seminar, okay, what do I look for? One idea. If I just get one thing, it's worth going to the seminar. Isn't that true? Right? You go to like just one thing. Then you're like, yeah, it was worth going, I got one thing. Well, maybe the song of the day is the one thing that you take away. I hope you get more than that, but I mean, that's pretty neat, right? So, so pay attention to the song. Now, what did the ushers do in our church?
Collect.
Okay, they collect the money, right? Why do we collect money?
Support the church.
Well,
It's our offering.
yeah.
It's better than sacrificing a lamb.
Well, no. I mean, part of the reason we collect offering is that you come to this church and you receive word and sacrament, and you're members of the church, and we need to support the ministry, and it's voluntary. Got that? Okay. Do we exist to turn a profit? People always, you know, they don't understand what churches are. We're not businesses, and we're not trying to turn a profit. And if you don't have any money, are you allowed to come to church?
Yes.
But what is this in our Constitution? Is it something like you have to make a contribution of record? And yeah, in other words, we don't want you to donate money. The only reason we want you here is to get your money. No, we don't care about that, right? And I'm a big believer in, if you preach the gospel and do the right thing, if people come to church, the money will take care of itself. It's an amazing thing. Like if people come, the money just takes care of it. You don't even have to talk about it. It happens automatically, right? So the offering gives you an opportunity to support the ministry, the word, the sacrament, you know, and this is a beautiful old historic building, you know. We spend a lot of time and energy trying to keep the building up alone, you know. What is the church anyway?
The people.
Yeah, it's not the building, right? There was a terrible church in, Newark or someplace this last week. Shiloh Baptist Church that goes way back, like a couple hundred years. It's African American. It burned down, and the preacher, he said it right. He goes, the church is not the building, it's the people. Yeah. That's pretty neat, you know. And I'm glad we have a nice old building, you know, but we're not here. It's not a country club without a golf course, and we don't exist to keep the building going. We just keep the building going because that's where we happen to meet on Sunday, right? And I like the building, you know, okay? So what else what do they do when they collect the money? I know Jim likes to take it out the back door and never come back. So what do? Jim, you have to give the money back. You're not allowed to keep it. Jim thought it was for him. All right, what do you do? What else do you do if you're an usher? What do you do?
Well, we bring it back. One usher brings that up, and one brings the
brings what?
The plate of
what?
offerings.
Okay, and what else?
The elements.
Bread and wine.
Do you ever notice that isn't that interesting? Why do we do that? To save Bobby the effort of having to walk up and put it on the credence table in the front. Is that why we do that? Why do we do that?
It's a sacrifice.
Are you sure?
No. It was some wild guess.
Well, what did they bring forward?
The offering.
And?
And the bread.
10%.
And the bread and the wine.
Oh.
Where does the bread and wine come from?
The ground.
Well, it comes from the people, right? The congregation brings it forward. Like you bring the offering forward and you bring the bread and wine forward. Okay? How do you know it's bread and wine?
Tastes like
you can look at it. It's in the back of the church when you come in. You can like check it out, make sure it's bread and wine, you know. And it's a gift from the people, from the congregation. So you bring that forward with the offerings. Okay, extremely important to do that. It's part of the. Believe it, it's part of the service. Right? Bringing the offering forward, or bringing the so it comes in with the offering. Okay, excellent. So it's called the elements are brought forward. Go ahead.
No, just saying, just telling Bonnie, all the other churches we belong to, they have never brought it forward. It's always been up on the side of the altar.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Well, bringing the elements forward is a part of the offering, and like it goes with the, you know, it's actually